Hello, hashtag here. This one's an interesting subject to us geeks. This is about durability, which is quite important when it comes to endurance sports such as long distance cycling and triathlon. It's not necessarily about how fast you are, it's about how long you can stay fast. So that's the key thing. And we do durability metrics to actually see how you. Now, the famous one is TTE, time to exhaustion. And that's basically you're sitting at your threshold or your FTP, and you just keep going, and we'll see actually how far you can last. Now, it's useful to track this TTE, especially when we're building towards 70.3 and Ironman targets, and as well as distances on the bike from 50 mile upwards. Now, we also look at the power or the pace decay over time. We look at your normalized power, and we see what it's like in the first hour of your ride and in the last hour of maybe a 4-hour ride. And there could be a significant drop in trying to maintain a certain pace. So we measure that, and we can see the progression of an athlete by looking at those numbers. Efficiency factor is always a good one, which is from a bike perspective, it's your normalized power, your MP, versus your heart rate. Or if you're running, that's your pace versus your heart rate. And necessarily the thing here when it comes down to it is actually that there's a constant pace throughout the whole workout. If there's a constant pace throughout the whole workout, we can safely assume that the heart rate difference from the beginning of your workout to the end of your workout is exact, and we can see how much cardiovascular drift there is, how much your heart rate goes up, because naturally we get fatigued and the heart rate goes up because you've got to do the same amount of work. Experts call it decoupling, but yes, cardiac drift is an old thing, but it's still good. And a stable efficiency factor, which is your effort versus your heart rate, shows good aerobic resilience. So that can pave the way to good long distance events. Fatigue resistance. We'll just see how far we can do 20-minute efforts at the beginning of your session, and then we'll do a 20-minute effort 3 hours in your session, and we'll see how resilient you are to that. How do we test it? Progressively long rides and runs, and we'll just see if the second half of that ride or run actually drops off. We can do back-to-back brick sessions just to see how the accumulative fatigue over the 2 days actually has an effect on you, if at all. We can also do fatigue testing. So basically we throw 3 or 4 days of quite intensive workouts at you and actually see how your heart rate holds up, whether it drifts on the second session, whether it drifts on the 3rd day, 4th day, etc. Now, durability matters, obviously, in triathlon. Long course triathlons aren't won by peak power and pace. They're usually lost due to the fact that you decay under the fatigue. 2 athletes with the same FTP can have radically different performances after 4 or 5 hours of racing. Durability is also a better predictor of performance in an Ironman than VO2 max or FTP on their own. So it's quite an important thing. How do we improve it? It's all about those long distance aerobic sessions, such as long runs and long bike rides. Zone 2, as we keep talking, it's really important that we do that as a base of our fitness. We do race specific intensities, so tempo for 3 hours, because we've got to replicate the race that we're actually taking part in somewhere along the line. Strength training, I'm not going to go into it today, but S&C is really important for muscle resilience. Fueling, hydration, that'll delay fatigue, of course it will. You don't want to go into that catabolic state because you've got no glycogen left, so your body starts to dissolve its own muscles to actually supply the energy. Don't want to do that. And sleep and recovery for better adaptations to those long sessions. We're coming up to 5 minutes. That's me done. There's quite a lot in there, unpack. You've got any questions regarding any of these protocols, any of these TTE things, fatigue, decay, etc., drop me a line, and we'll either have a chat privately, or if you feel like you want to have this as a question and answer thing, that's cool with me as well. Okay, ciao for now. Let's crack on.